Hello guys and welcome back to the weekend roundup, where if you've not been here before we talk about all the action in the Premier League at the weekend, followed by all the action in England, well, a rough summary of the action in England, and a rough summary of the action in Europe's other top 5 leagues before heading on to a topic of the week. Topic of the week this week, we'll get onto it, and we'll also do my team of the week for the Premier League as well. Starting with, as we have been doing recently, the running towards the title, City and Arsenal. Let's start with their games. I'm going to start with City's 5-1 demolition of Wolves. And my God, I had this game turned off at half time because I was bored, I was yawning. I was like, right, it's another one of them games. Haaland had scored a hat-trick by half-time, and I was like, I'm done here. I don't want to watch this anymore. Maybe a pain, but it's, might be biased against this, but it is just getting a bit boring now, isn't it? It's like, come on, let's have a bit of summer. Come on, let's one of the teams fight back a little bit and make it a bit more interesting. But no, City get the result that they wanted and continue to push on for the title. Wolves got one chance in the game. They took it, got the goal. But yeah, Haaland scored 4 goals in the game and just had a good game. But he had a bit of a snap at Pep for taking him off. So hopefully the dressing room is not as nice as we are made to believe, and it starts to get a bit yappy back there. That'd be very nice for me, a United fan. Arsenal versus Bournemouth, we saw end 3-0 to Arsenal. Arsenal continue to push on for this title fight as much as they can, Saka getting a goal, Rice getting involved, Havertz getting involved. It's good for him, and Trossard getting a goal as well. Gabriel, however, scoring the best goal of the game, but it being disallowed because Havertz was slightly offside. It's one of them. Bournemouth should have probably had a goal, but they're never going to win the game with the goal. So at the end of the day, their season's done with now. They don't need to push for anything, don't need to get anything. So there's no one to argue. Arsenal got the result that they deserved. They had 4 XG. It was a very well earned result from Arsenal. Sheffield versus Forest. Obviously Sheffield were the first and only team relegated so far, and they got beat, and they showed why they got beat. It's 3-1. Counter and I had a great game. Sheffield United had a good game as a team, to be fair. I think they'll come right back up next year. They look like Chris Wilder's kind of got them together. They're just not up to the standard of the Premier League, but they're clearly for the standard of the Championship. So it's going to be making sure that in-between's there, unless they get ripped apart by players like for Gustavo Hamer and stuff like that. James McAtee's not going to be there next year. Brad Brintiers is not going to be there next year. It's going to be a year older next year. They might not come straight back up if the right players leave, if they don't get the right players in. Burnley, someone else who are close to that relegation fight. They're not quite there yet. Next weekend we might be speaking about it, but right now we're not. Losing 4-1 to Newcastle, getting a goal right at the end, a goal poor to give away from Newcastle. Matt Ritchie giving it away. But yeah, Newcastle all guns blazing, goals galore, and having a good time while doing it. Isak missing a penalty, so it could have probably been 5, but he got his goal eventually. Gordon getting involved, Wilson getting involved again. He's now the second time all-time top goal scorer for Newcastle in the Premier League, behind the obvious. Luton, Everton, another bit of the relegation battle there. Everton now safe, but Luton not, and Luton getting a draw. It would have been nice for them to get a win. I feel like they had the better chances in the game, but Everton showed why they're not getting relegated, showed why they've had a good season. And DCL keeping up his goals. He's got 4 goals in the last 5 games now. He's having a good time with it. But yeah, I think this Luton team might get torn apart a little bit. I think Adebayo, Doherty, you might see some of the centre-backs leave. You might see Tom Kaminsky get a move to the Premier League. We don't know. You're not going to say anything yet, but Luton might spend a while in the Championship again, as it is now. But it's been nice to have them. Hopefully you might still get a great escape against Forest. I still would prefer him in the league over Forest. Sorry, Forest fans, I am just a bit biased there. Brentford versus Fulham ended 0-0, and on the list of things more exciting to watch than Manchester City, it was this Brentford versus Fulham 0-0. It ended 0-0. It's not a great exciting game, but it was more exciting to watch than that City game waiting for a goal to come, but no goal came. Once again, highlighting the problems that I feel Brentford are going to face next year, but we'll get onto that next year when I feel they're going to get a few players leave, they're not going to get the right signings in, because they've not got the right signings in for the past 2 years now, and I feel like it's going to start really badly affecting them next year, and I feel they might face the drop next year. Fulham, they had the chances, but once again, it's just one of them. They get into this system with Marco Silva where they just kind of stop scoring, but it is what it is. They kind of stay up. They're good enough to stay up, this Fulham team, so they'll stay up next year, but they're not going to do anything more this year now, are they? Brighton 1, Villa 0. Brighton, man, they pushed and pushed and pushed. They got a result. I thought Villa might have got a result out of this game, but no, they couldn't. They couldn't find the chances, and I feel like they've got the same problems that they faced against Olympiacos last week, losing to Olympiacos in the midweek game, and I feel like they might lose to Olympiacos this week as well in Athens. Olympiacos pushing for that home final. I spoke about this in my Europa League predictions video. Just who listens, eh? Who listens? I think we're having a good game there. Brighton getting the goal they need. You know, they've failed to score from open play now, though, for, you know, themselves for 5 games, 6 games that it might be, which is an insane record. 2 goals that they scored in that time was an own goal from Muric and a penalty. No, it wasn't actually a penalty. They did technically get the goal from open play, but it was saved and pounced back out. It's technically open play, but it's not quite there. I'm not going to allow it. They're still struggling to score the chances in live play, is what I'm going to say. Chelsea 5, West Ham 0. Oof, what a game that was. Chelsea absolutely dominating West Ham, taking charge. And, you know, they're kind of forming a team now. They're finally getting together under Poch and showing, you know what, they might be a force next year. And with the right, you know, choices in the transfer windows to decision what to make there, they'll do really well next year. Madueke having a really good time out on that right side right now. Might actually cause a problem for Cole Palmer. I think Madueke is playing very well on the right side. When Nkunku comes back, will Nkunku slot into the centre, or will they keep Palmer? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see on that. I think Madueke is immovable in that team. You might look at Palmer's goals and say, oh yeah, but Palmer's got to stay, but half of Palmer's goals are from the penalty spot. And the rest, Nkunku definitely finishes. So, you know, you got to ask yourself these questions. It's like, do you play Palmer on the left then? Do you push Madueke to the left where he's not as good? It's a lot of questions to be asked about this Chelsea team next year, and you know, decisions are right. Decisions are right. It's what it end for West Ham though. They've held this result too many times this year. They've held an absolute demolition way too many times this year, and it's just not being good enough for him. Moyes is obviously now going, but decisions need to be made this summer that are going to change West Ham's future. And then for the final game of the weekend, it is Liverpool 4, Spurs 2. The Klopp farewell tour is having come up with a bit of a bang. After a drop over the past month, they've come back with a bit of light to them. Smashed Spurs today. You know, Spurs absolutely bottled it. They had a chance to push onto Villa, who have, you know, threw away their Champions League spot a bit, but they're going to keep it because Spurs have threw away the chance to advance to them, and if it looks like that Champions League spot is going to go to Villa. Obviously there's still 6 points in it, but Spurs have a game in hand against Manchester City, which all of the league is hoping Spurs will win, but obviously City and Spurs are hoping City win, which is a really weird way about it. But yeah, Salah had a good game, Gakpo had a good game, and Elliott scored a great goal for Liverpool in that game. That pushes me on to my team of the week. And the team of the week, we're going to go with Robin Olsen in net. He made a good penalty, he made quite a few saves. Should have probably kept a clean sheet, but he was unlucky not to. But he goes in for his penalty save. Muric could have gotten a saved penalty, but he conceded 4. So Robin Olsen gets in the team. The back 3, we're going to go with Gabriel. Igor had a good game for Brighton, I think. And then Chalobah had a good game for Chelsea, put in a clean sheet. And also help him put that ball up and get, you know, help pass through West Ham's defence. He had another good game there. At midfield 4, we're going to go Madueke. I said he had a really good game, and he is my star player from that Chelsea game in the winning 5-0. Madueke got a goal, but he deserved a lot more from that game. Elliott for his goal, Rice has got in there, and I'm also putting in Havertz into the team. I think Havertz and Rice ran the game against Bournemouth and ran Bournemouth off the park. I think both are going to be vital assets in the upcoming Euros to their respective countries, which we'll get into in a second. Adingra, Haaland and Callum Hudson-Odoi make the attack. I think Adingra had a really good game. Haaland had a good game, getting his 4 goals. Obviously, I put him in the team. Hudson-Odoi getting 2 goals in a vital game for Forest, keeping them up in the league right now. Obviously they might still get relegated, but you know, coming in clutch is what you see. He's coming in clutch. And let's get on to the Championship, which ended this weekend, and it starts with Leicester have won the league. Ipswich have been promoted, which I am very happy about. I'm very happy to see McKenna in the league next year and see how Ipswich do. Ipswich they're not going to be like Luton were this year, where they're underdogs. I think Ipswich are going to come in and have a force about them. But I don't want to get too caught up in it, as in a lot of people got caught up on Company's Burnley. Don't get too caught up on McKenna's Ipswich. There was a League One team last year. This time last year they was in League One. So within 4 months going to be in the Premier League, that's a massive step for a lot of these players. But it's a step that I'm happy for him to see. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool to see us back in the thing. Relegation wise, Huddersfield, Rotherham and Birmingham go down. It was Blackburn at one point, it was Plymouth at one point, it was Wednesday, it's been changing, and Birmingham actually stormed the pitch in celebration at the last minute, only to find out that they actually have been relegated because Blackburn were winning their game. Unlucky Birmingham, but yeah. And then we're going on to the Championship playoffs, which will be happening over the next week. Leeds versus Norwich and Southampton versus West Brom. And usually I'd make a big prediction video about this, but that's the time, so it's coming into this video. Leeds are going to get beaten by Norwich, so I think Norwich are going to get into the final there. And then Southampton, West Brom, I'm going to go Southampton, Norwich, final. Norwich, I want Norwich to come up. I want Norwich to come up to give Ipswich a derby, and then I think everyone in next year's Premier League has a derby as a rival to go against, apart from Newcastle. I think Newcastle, obviously, they have no real rivals up there. Could they call anyone a rival? No, they couldn't really. They don't like United, do they? They will be the biggest hated by Newcastle next year, which I'm fine with. I'll take it. On to the other playoff games, so we're going to go on to Bolton Barnsley, which is already 3-1 to Bolton, so I think Bolton will get into the final there. And then Peterborough versus Oxford. Oxford are winning at 1-0 right now, but I think it's going to be Peterborough go through against Bolton, and then Bolton are going to win the playoffs in total and get promoted. So Bolton get promoted into the Championship, and let's see if they can do what Ipswich have done this year. I don't think they can, but we'll see. In terms of League 2, we're going Crawley versus MK Dons and Crewe versus Doncaster, and I feel that's going to end in a Donny final. Doncaster versus MK Dons, and I think MK Dons will take it. But Doncaster have been on really good form, so they could always take it themselves. We're going to wait and see. It is going to be an all Donny final, though. On to La Liga, and La Liga was one of the only leagues, there's only one of these 5 leagues I'm going to talk about now that hadn't won the league yet, and it's now over. Only the Premier League is the only league where the team have not won the league yet, and Real Madrid have won La Liga thanks to Girona beating Barcelona 4-2, and then the game right after Bellingham enjoyed it. They won, was it 3-0? And Bellingham got a goal in it. Bellingham got a second goal, and he's enjoying his first medal around his neck, his first proper he's won a league, and hopefully he goes on and wins something else this year, whether that's the Champions League or please the Euros. Give him the Euros. That's what I need. I need Kane to win the Champions League, and I need Bellingham and Kane to both win the Euros together and be a very, very happy partnership. And Girona have secured their Champions League spot. Barcelona still need 1 point. Girona have secured the Champions League before Barcelona. That is exciting coming into next season's Champions League, because we've also got likes of Leverkusen and Stuttgart, who beat Bayern Munich 3-1 and have secured their Champions League spot as well, alongside Bayern Munich, who are obviously up there. Only one more spot left in the Bundesliga to be up for grabs. La Liga obviously got 2 more spots up for grabs. Dortmund beating Augsburg 5-1 in what a game, and they're still pushing for that Champions League spot. They might get it through winning the Champions League. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Leverkusen beating Frankfurt 5-1 in what a game. Another great performance from Leverkusen, and continuing this unbeaten streak towards the end of the season. Onwards, and that's where they're going. They're going onwards, up and over. In Liga, PSG given a rest weekend again, being told to chill out. You've got the Champions League against Dortmund next week, you can rest. So that's meanwhile Dortmund are pushing on for a Champions League spot in the league. PSG, you got a weekend off. They're going to go out next weekend and beat Dortmund probably in the midweek game, even though they are losing 1-0 right now. People beating them to Sancho, but not here to listen to it. Monaco beating Clermont 4-1 as well, pushing on for their spot in the Champions League next year. Brest might have slipped a little, but hopefully not too much. Hopefully do not slip too much, and hopefully he can still push on for a Champions League spot. I'd like to see Brest in the Champions League. It would be quite cool. And then in Serie A, Inter beaten by Sassuolo. Maybe them celebrations went a bit too hard for them there, but fair enough. On to my topic of the week anyway now. We're going through all that pretty quickly. Quicker than usual, I would say, which makes me worried that I've missed something to talk about. But we're going on to my talk of the week anyway. And my talk of the week is, do England have a problem in the Euros? It's kind of one that a lot of people are throwing out going, what's stopping this team from winning the Euros? And be like, yeah, we'll have Rice, we'll have Bellingham, we'll have Foden, we'll have Palmer, we'll have Saka, we'll have Kane. And I'm like, in my head I'm like, that doesn't work. I think most of my viewers will know that doesn't work, that won't work. But I've got an issue in general with Rice. I'm going to start with Rice to start this talk off, because I'm noticing Rice get a lot closer to that box, in the Arsenal games than I'd like him to be for England. I'd like him to be more sat back and, you know, be protecting that back line, because that back line's probably our shakiest bit, especially that left side. I'd like Rice to be protecting it. And yeah, we might have Gallagher in there, there's a lot of danger, or Mine, who has a lot of gamesmanship about him. But Rice, start staying back, will you? These last few games, just be a bit more defensive. They're going to win the game. Arsenal are going to win the game if you're up there or not. So sit back, pretend you're in the Euros, pretend you're playing for England, that's what I want to see. And then on the reverse side, Kane always comes deep. And I think this is a problem that a lot of people outlined with Kane, of that he thinks he's the playmaker and the finisher. We have so many good playmakers, Kane. Just stay up top and they'll give you the ball and you can finish it and we'll win this Euros. We need Kane to stay up top, we need Rice to stay back, and we need the rest of them to do their job, which comes into the rest of them of like, I said we've got a lot of playmakers. Do we need all these playmakers? Or are we going to let Kane drop deep? And then I'd rather have Gordon play than Foden, because then if we've got Saka, and we've got Kane dropping deep, and we've got Bellingham and Foden, no one out of them is a great finisher. I'm not even going to include Palmer. Palmer's not a great finisher. He's a good finisher, but none of them are like Kane. And I think the closest thing we have to someone who can actually play strike when Kane's not there is Gordon. Which makes me question is like, do I want to start Gordon at Euros? Should we want to start Gordon at Euros? Someone who can replace Kane when Kane's not there to get in the box and finish the chances, because Bellingham can do it, but Bellingham's the one probably making the chances. Saka's probably the one making chances. Foden's probably the one making the chances. We have so many people making chances. It's like City's problem a few years ago. All these people to make the chances. Can we just put someone there to finish them? That's what we need. We need someone to finish them. So if Kane's not staying in that box, we need someone like Gordon to be playing so we can finish these chances. And then that way you might want to drop, if we play Gordon, you might drop Bellingham into the midfield and then play Foden in the 10. I'd prefer Bellingham in the 10 all day long. Saka's definitely playing. Saka has been England's best player for the last 2 years. Kane's obviously playing. Kane's England's best striker. So Foden's the only one that I can really question, do we put Foden in the team? Because his finishing ability isn't as good as Gordon's is. His finishing ability is very good, but it's not as good as Gordon's. His creative ability is a lot better than Gordon's. That's what Foden is for creativity. But we've got Bellingham, Saka doing the creativity. We've got Kane doing creativity when he doesn't need to be doing it. And we can't drop Kane out of the team, so do we need all this creativity, or can we have like someone who can just finish the chances? We need someone to finish the dinner really and not pass it off. The same problem comes with the two centre backs. Maguire and Stones both like to drive into the midfield when they can. We need them to stay back. It's nice to be on the ball. It's nice that you like being on the ball, but pass it off. Pass it off. Make a cool pass if you want. Make a nice pass. Make a intercepting pass. It's nice. Kyle Walker, no problem with you, mate. You know where to be. Kyle Walker's in the right position all the time because he's so fast. He just gets back in the right position. And then the left back problem is like, who is there? Because I don't. If Luke Shaw's not fit by the time of the Euros, like, are we going to take Luke Shaw? No, probably not. Levi Colwill, quite defensive. He's good at the cover, especially if Maguire likes to go into midfield. It'd be good to have someone like Colwill there coming back on itself. I've spoken about England so much in this Euros. I feel like this is our best chance of winning the Euros. Is look at the team that we have. Look at the team we have. It's just, what needs to happen is it needs to be used correctly. That's what I'm saying. It's like, we have to think about who's going to go where and who wants to drift where and how they're going to drift to the position that they want to drift in. And is there going to be a player that's better in that position anyway, that, you know, like, everyone's going, oh, Foden needs to get into this team. But where though? Where does Foden get into this team? Because Foden doesn't really show it for England either. I'm going to say that Foden has never really shown it for England. Saka does. Saka shows it for England. Bellingham shows it for England every time he's on the pitch. Kane shows it for England. Rice shows it for England. Maguire, Stone shows it for England. Pickford shows it for England. Walker shows it for England. Shaw shows it for England. Obviously, that other centre mid spot, Gallagher, Mainu, whoever you're going to put there, question whether they show it for England, but I want someone on more defensive side. I'm not putting Calvin Phillips in the team. And then it just gives me on that left side, it's like, yeah, we could put Rashford there, who does show it for England a lot, but is Rashford good enough form to be getting into the team right now? In all fairness, in the last 4 games of the year now, he might go on a massive spree and, you know, be like, right, yeah, but Rashford's got to be the guy in the team on the left side. But right now, in my head, it's Gordon. Gordon's had a great year. Gordon's been consistent all year. On that left side, in my mind, it's got to be Anthony Gordon. Sack off your Cole Palmers, sack off your Fodens, the best left winger we have to play for England is Anthony Gordon, and I'm going to die on that hill, and that is how I'm going to end this video. Argue with me in the comments if you'd like, people. I'm here for the arguments, I'm here for the talk about football. Let me know what your biggest worry about the Euros is this summer. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Like the video, please leave a like. You want to see more, subscribe, because there's more on this channel all the time. Thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully I will see you next time. Cheers.